Hey kids, how is it going? I hope you're having a great day. Today we're going to be talking about a little bit of cardio action, a little cardio stuff here. We're going to look at the difference between ellipticals, treadmills. A lot of people use both of those machines, and a lot of people ask me, Yuri, is it better to do cardio or intervals on the elliptical or the treadmill? I'm going to answer that. I'm going to give you some alternatives in just a second. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to mention is specificity. If you're a runner, you don't need to be spending time on the elliptical unless you're going to use that as some form of active cross-training type of recovery. If you're a runner, you should spend your time running on the outdoors on the treadmill specific to running. Obviously, you're not going to benefit from biking or rowing or the elliptical. But if your goal is simply to improve your cardiovascular capacity, burn fat, and you want something different every time, then the elliptical is fine, so is the treadmill, so is the bike, and whatnot. So let's look at the elliptical first. The elliptical, the great thing about it is that it's a non-impact type of activity, which is great for people who have joint issues. If you have arthritic type knees, it's sore knees from pounding when you're running, elliptical is an awesome option because it's just gliding, right? You're just literally gliding, no impact. Awesome. Second great thing about the elliptical is that it's full body. And you know me, I'm all about the full body stuff. Think about, again, just look at the elliptical, right? You're getting your arms pretty much doing a push and pull movement the whole time. At the same time, your legs are doing the same thing. It's literally as though you're cross-country skiing outdoors. And if you look at which athletes have the highest aerobic capacity, okay? In all sports, cross-country skiers are at the very, very top, along with rowers and runners. The reason is that ellipticals or cross-country skiing uses pretty much all of your muscle, all of your body's muscles. The more muscles you use in an exercise, the more oxygen you're required to bring in. Now that does two things. The first thing is that it puts a lot of stress on your cardiovascular system, and that's a good stress. That's when you start huffing and puffing. You really have to become more efficient aerobically to do the exercise. The second thing it does is it burns a lot of calories, because for every liter or so of oxygen you consume, you're burning about 5 calories. So the more oxygen you bring in, the more calories you burn. That's why if you're exercising and you can still carry a conversation and you're talking on your phone, you're wasting your time. You gotta be huffing and puffing, okay? So the elliptical is great. Now, there's one really important thing you must do if you're on the elliptical. First of all, no talking on the phone, no watching TV, no reading magazines, right? That's not what it's about. If you're on the elliptical, you have to crank up the resistance, okay? Because if you don't, you're simply allowing the flywheel, the machine itself, to use that momentum to guide you. And that's a waste of time. That is a waste of time. You have to increase the resistance so that you're really pushing and pulling each way, each stroke through that elliptical movement. Very important. The difference is day and night. I'm in the gym this morning and I see people every single time. They're on the phone, they're reading magazines, they're just gliding. They might as well stay at home. It's a waste of time. Get the resistance up, get the intensity up, get your muscles moving, get your heart rate up. Okay? That is the key to using elliptical. If you do that, it's a great machine. The treadmill, again, is awesome because because it is a weight-bearing, higher impact activity, is going to burn a lot of calories. It's also a very inefficient human movement. So if you look at all types of locomotion, all types of movement, running is one of the least efficient human movements. I'm trying to remember what the biomechanical efficiency is. It's like 24% or something like that, which means that like 75% of the energy that you're using to run is burned off as heat, which means that that's burned off as calories, okay? So when you get your body, temperature rate up and you're burning a lot of calories and stuff, that's a lot of heat that's being lost. That's pretty much, calories. So from a fat burning perspective, the least efficient movement is the better one. It's kind of counterintuitive. So running is not an efficient human movement. That's why it's tough for a lot of people to run compared to biking, right? If you're on a bike, it's easier. It's a more efficient human movement. And that's why you don't burn as many calories on a bike at the same intensity as you would if you were running. Okay, so the treadmill's great, elliptical's great. The key with the elliptical, guys, is that you gotta crank up the resistance. And the same thing goes if you're on the bike. If you're on anything that has a flywheel, you have to increase the resistance. Otherwise, the flywheel is just gonna propel you and you're not gonna do anything. On the treadmill, again, higher intensity stuff, the same rules apply. Are you huffing and puffing, right? You should be on your phone, you should not be reading a magazine, you need to be working hard. If you're walking on a treadmill, crank up the incline. Walk on a steep incline. Get some light dumbbells. Get your arms moving as well. You're going to benefit from that tremendously. I could talk about all this stuff, for I don't know, for forever. Yeah, but that's the answer to that question. So thanks again. It's a great question. Elliptical versus treadmill, they're both great. They both have the pros and cons. You just have to use them efficiently. All right, guys? That's all for me. I'll see you in the next video.